Hi, welcome to RLB Art Box Studio video instructions. For the month of March, we will be learning how to create optical art. There are 3 different designs that we will be going over. For design 1, step 1, lay out all of your supplies and look over your visuals. Locate the design 1 visual to use as a reference. Step 2, on Bristol board, begin by drawing the optical art using pencil. Be sure to press lightly. You will most likely be erasing and redrawing some of the designs. Step 3. With a ruler, you will measure your paper into 1/2 inch sections at the top and at the bottom. Then you will connect the measurements by drawing vertical lines with your ruler. One tip that I like to use when using a ruler is to apply pressure to the middle of the ruler when you are drawing. This way, the ruler won't scoot on you. Step 4. With a pencil, lightly draw one large geometric shape, such as a square, a triangle, a diamond, or possibly a rectangle. You may also use your ruler to do this step. Step 5. Next, you will repeat the shape by drawing, or choose another geometric shape, and you will draw this inside or next to the first shape in varying sizes until the space seems filled up. You will want at least 3 shapes total. I chose to use more. Step 6. Begin with the top of the vertical space on your left, and moving down the paper, you will label lightly with pencil each space you meet, alternating B for black and W for white. You are creating a checkerboard pattern. You will continue to label the entire paper. You will alternate the labeling with each row or space. Step 7. When all spaces are labeled, you will begin to carefully color them in using the black Prismacolor Premier Art Marker. You will color in the areas that are labeled B for black. Prismacolor Premier Art Markers are used for fine details by professional artists and advanced art students. Try using both ends of this dual-tip marker. One end is a fine tip, the other is more of a paintbrush tip. When using Prismacolor Premier Art Markers on Bristol board, you do not have to worry about the markers bleeding, smudging, or leaving marks in unnecessary areas. Where you put the marker is where the marker stays. Another pro tip I'd like to share with you is if you'd like your edges to be nice and crisp, you can use your ruler and the Prismacolor art marker and go over your vertical lines again. This will give you crisp, straight lines. Step 8. When you are finished coloring with the Prismacolor art marker, you will use your pencil, uncap the eraser, and you will erase all of the W's. Don't worry about erasing over top of the black Prismacolor because that marker will stay in its place. It will not smudge, it will not bleed. It is locked in place. Congratulations on your finished Optical Art Design 1. You should be proud of yourself. Now it is time to try Optical Art Design 2. Step 1. Lay out all of your supplies and look over your visuals. Locate the Design To visual to use as a reference. Step 2. On Bristol board, begin by drawing the optical art using a pencil. Be sure to press lightly. Step 3. With a pencil, draw a small dot anywhere on your paper. Anywhere. Step 4. With a pencil and a ruler, draw 8 or 10 straight lines starting at the dot, then ending at the edge of the paper. 8 to 10 lines is just a guideline. If you would like to draw more than that, be sure to stick with an even number. Step 5. You have created 8 or 10 sections. These sections you will be drawing 2 different kinds of curved lines. You will be drawing happy face curved lines and sad face curved lines. With a pencil, you will draw happy face curved lines in alternate sections. When drawing these, a pro tip is to turn your paper while drawing the curved lines. It makes it much easier. Step 6. Color in every other curved section with the Prismacolor art marker, alternating one colored section, one white section. Black, white, black, white. While using your Prismacolor Premier Art Marker, be sure to use both tips. You may prefer one over the other for certain areas. Step 7. Using the pencil again, draw sad face curved lines in the leftover sections. Try to align the sad face curves with the happy face curves for more of an illusion. As you're drawing these curved lines, remember to turn your paper. It makes it so much easier. Step 8. With the Prismacolor art marker, color in the sad face sections, alternating one colored section, one white section. But be sure to do the opposite of the happy face sections you completed. For example, in the first section, if you went white, black, the second section with the sad faces, you will want to go black, white, white. Your ultimate goal is to have a checkerboard pattern. Keep going, you're almost done, and it looks awesome. Step 9. Congratulations on your finished Optical Art Design 2. We hope that you enjoyed this optical art design just like the first one. Now, if you're up for the challenge, it is time to try Optical Art Design 3. Step 1, take your Bristol board and turn it in front of you so it looks like a diamond. Then, with your pencil pressing lightly, you're going to draw your best straight line from tip to tip. Along the straight line, towards the center, you're going to draw 2 curved lines, one on each side. Step 2, you will lightly sketch over your straight line and the curved lines, blending them together so they look like they become one piece. Once you are satisfied with how this looks, and you may need to erase a few times and redraw, you will then use the Prismacolor art marker and color this area in. You want to try to get this to be perfectly symmetrical, which means the same on both sides. An artist tip that I like to give to my students when drawing a nice smooth line is to let the portion of your hand right below your pinky glide along your working surface. This helps you to create a much smoother line, and so it's not all jagged. Another artist tip that I'd like to share with everyone for this project, this Design 3, is you will be turning your paper many times. Step 3. It is now time to draw more curved lines. We're going to draw a curved line above and below the first curved line that we made, or I guess we could call that a shape that we made. When you're drawing your curved line above, you want to be sure that the space between the curved line that you're drawing right now and the first shape that you made is the same throughout. Once you have your first line drawn, you will then draw your second one on the bottom. You should have a symmetrical design when you're done. You also want to make your lines a little thicker towards the middle than towards the edge. This step can be a little tricky, so feel free to sketch it out, erase, and redraw. Once you have something that you like, you will use the black Prismacolor marker and you will color these areas in. Step 4. With a pencil, carefully sketch out another curved line. You're following the lines or the curves of the lines that you've already created. Again, you want to be sure that the distance or the space between the lines that you're drawing is even throughout. If you're not sure what I mean, look at the finished Optical Art Design 3 that's included in your art box. You're looking at the white areas. Once you have both lines drawn, one on each side, and they look pretty symmetrical, you will then again color them in with the black Prismacolor marker. Next, you will continue to draw more curved lines on each side of your paper. Remember, you want this to be a symmetrical design, so you want one side to match the other side. Also, when you're looking at this, when I look at it, it makes me think of an onion, the inside of an onion when you cut it in half. If you need a visual, that's the visual that I can think of. You will continue to draw these lines as you work your way towards the edge or the corners of the paper. After you draw each line on each side and you like it, you will color it in with the black Prismacolor marker and then move along to the next curved line. As you get closer to the edge or the corners of the paper, the thickness of your curved lines is going to be the same throughout. In the beginning, we made the center a little thicker than the ends. But as you get closer to the edge of the paper or the corners of the paper, the thickness of your line is going to be consistent. It's still going to be curved slightly, but the thickness is going to be consistent. For this design to be successful, it has to be symmetrical. So as you're drawing, try to match each side the best that you can. I know it's a challenge, but you can do it. You may have to erase and redraw a couple times, but that's okay. As you're coloring in these areas with the black Prismacolor marker, be sure to use both tips of the marker. One is a little bit finer and the other is more like a paintbrush. Guess what? You're almost done and it looks really great. step of this project is to erase any visible pencil lines. Don't worry about the marker smudging, it is set in place. Congratulations, you have completed all 3 optical art designs. You should be proud of yourself. Be sure to share your art with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.